Hi, I'm Kellie Lehr, and I'm this week's studio artist for I Like Your Work. I'm located in New Haven, Connecticut. That's where we are right now. And I'm gonna walk you around the studio and show you around. But just to tell you a little bit about me, I do work in the area that I guess we'll call expanded painting. I work with acrylics, oils, inks on canvas. I work a lot with raw canvas, and I use folding as a mark making and a way of working with the grid and pattern making. And then I also sometimes will show my paintings using folding techniques so that they actually become more like a soft sculpture. But I really consider all my work to be based in painting. So this is my studio. I love the windows with all the light, the tall ceilings. I moved here about a year ago. Well, not quite a year ago, maybe 8 months ago. This week actually just had some storage shelves built, so I'm really excited about that, and I'm going to work on the organization next. This is a wall of the soft sculptural pieces we'll talk about. Works on paper. This is my dog Larson. This is an area where I work, and I'll show you some samples in a little bit. These are works in progress. Finished painting. Painting I'm working on right now. This is my oil painting station. I've been working a lot with oils lately. I'm often working on the ground here. And then I've got some recent ones that are hanging that have been inked and folded and worked with liquid acrylic. And this is the acrylic station. And my new storage, which I'm really excited about. I'm working on getting some organization to it next. So these are some of the forms that I talked about where the paintings are presenting themselves in more of a soft sculptural format. I think of them as spaces to feel and shields. And the idea that absence is much a part of these as presence is. They are definitely tied. In my titles, you'll see references to mythology and archetypes. And I think about the color as more of a memory and more a way of tracking how color moved. This piece, Gallia's Turn, one of the things I like the most about it is that the way it's folded, the way it's presented, it's showing you both the inside, the back sides of these canvases, as well as the outside at the same time. Both the top piece and the bottom piece do that. And then I am using a process called soak staining, which Helen Frankenthaler invented, where you're allowing a lot of water, and I use sponges to soak all the way through. I use the wrinkles that you'll see to catch the light as they're drying in the sun, so that that's actually creating that really interesting pattern from the wrinkle that's very organic. It is not something that I could do myself, so it's definitely working with chance elements. I think the materials are really important, and the different weights of canvas that I'm using and working with on the floor, they actually do different things, and I try to stay open in the making so that I can look to see what the material, how the material is responding back to me. This top piece is made with folding and inking, and you can see the memory of that ink, and then the paint has come on later. The top is really thick canvas, and then the bottom is a very thin canvas, which does a different thing. And then the piece on the end is made, the bottom part is made with silk staining, again using wrinkles to both create a pattern and then present it. It's hung on embroidery hoops, so just reaching back to the past, thinking about women's work, and also thinking about new ways of presenting painting. The top is made with ink and actually washing it in the sink. So thinking about artists like Merle Lederman, Eucalyptus, who used washing as actually an art performance, and getting us to think about unseen labor, hidden labor. And then I'm using embroidery thread as a sketching tool. And the photo, there's a photo transfer. I took many photos driving to my parents' house and thinking about ideas of nostalgia and different kinds of nostalgia. Some are really great, and I think some are actually a little bit dangerous. So those are some of the ideas in the work. And next I'll take you to my workstation where I explore. This is just, I do a lot of little grid drawings, and sometimes they turn into ones that I'm actually gonna not directly copy, but they can provide inspiration. But these are some of the samples where, again, we're looking at the silk staining, where that color kind of leaves a memory. And then this one is using ink on top to lightly touch the surface with a sponge so that I can capture those wrinkles. And I like thinking about ways that the surface can track its memory. This is another one where the green bits are the memory of the wrinkle, used with silk staining again. And then this is one of the grids. I work with a grid a lot, and this is just a grid coming from folding the actual painting as it's being made. So each grid line you see is an actual fold mark that when it's opened, it retains the memory of that three-dimensional surface that it was. This is actually my great aunt's quilt, which I love, and it's so beautiful. You can see every little stitch is hand done. It's amazing. And I've been slowly incorporating it into work, so I'm going to show you a painting next that has this in it. Another example of using different weights of canvases. This is a thinner, denser actual canvas. So again, that silk staining is happening. It's going all the way through. It's leaving its memory. And then I like adding something that's completely different. So in this case, it was a thick acrylic with experimenting with sand. So this will probably end up in a bigger painting, just cut up. So I think my tip would be just to keep following your energy and your curiosity, and keep asking questions, keep exploring. Yeah. So thank you for touring my studio with me. I hope it was fun. And you can find my work at my website, kellielehr.com, and on Instagram at Kellie Lehr. You can also read a full interview about my studio practice on ilikeyourwork.com. /studio visit artist. Thank you so much.